Welcome back. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WVLS. You are watching Open, and we appreciate you, thank you, and love you. Our next guest is an award-winning author, award-winning volunteer, and radio host who joins us to speak about her radio show, Grief Journey, reflecting on the death anniversary of her close friend, Bill Lotmen. And she'll shed some light on his life's work and much more. So please welcome to the show, Janice Jenkins Tosto. Welcome.
Hi, good morning, Dr. Bob.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We're going to just throw it out there like that. How are you?
Hey, I'm well, thank you.
Good. Can you shed some light or share a little bit about yourself and what inspired your radio and Grief Journey radio show?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So when this show airs, National Grief Awareness Day will have passed, but I want to emphasize to folks that grief awareness happens every day. It's not just one particular day, but it happens every day. For me, that awareness happened a couple of years ago when my friend Bill Lotmen died unexpectedly. And it was just absolutely devastating. But at the same time, it was an opportunity for me to realize and to do a lot of research and study about grief and to understand that grief is a normal and it's a natural reaction to loss and change. And we all experience grief. And for me, the key is to continue to acknowledge the role that grief plays in my life. And it's not so much trying to shut down grief, but it's learning how to live with the grief. And I think that's a challenge for all of us. First of all, to acknowledge that grief does have an impact in all of our lives. And when I say that, your earlier guest, Kendrick Joe, gave a perfect example. So he talked about how he was impacted by the death of Kobe Bryant and his daughter.
Yeah.
And as a result of his grief, what he did was he turned to his visual art and he created some artwork to honor Kobe Bryant and to come to terms with his grief, which is a perfect example of what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The importance of acknowledging that grief and then being okay with whatever feelings arise as a result of that grief. So I thought he gave a perfect example of that.
Yeah. And, a lot of people are dealing with, like you said before, grief every day. During your radio show, what are some of the main points that you are talking about? What do people want to know about grieving and grief?
So when I created my show, I didn't want to come from the perspective of a therapist because I'm not a therapist. My premise is very simple. I am a griever and I wanted to talk to other grievers. I wanted, first of all, to give them a platform so that they could honor their late loved ones. That was really important for me, to give them the opportunity to talk about who their person was, what their life was like, and not so much focus on how they died, but to really focus on how they lived. And then the other aspect that we talk about is how we integrate that grief into our lives. So how do we live with that loss?
Yeah.
So I have had guests who've come on who have lost siblings, they've lost children, they've even lost pets. I've had therapists come onto the show to talk more about different manifestations of grief, that sort of thing. So it's a mixed bag, but mostly people come to my show because they want to honor someone that they love.
If there is a disbelief, there's a when people get upset, then there's a denial until the real thing sets in. Hey, this thing really happened. This thing really happened.
All kinds of reactions to grief. People's reactions and experiences to grief are individualized. So whereas some people may need to go see a therapist, some people may not need to see a therapist. What might help them is writing in a journal, writing their feelings and thoughts in a journal, spending time in nature, spending time with friends and family, going to religious services, doing artwork, as Mr. Job said earlier, doing artwork, playing music, all kinds of things, learning to dance, learning to eat better, all types of things people engage in to work through their grief.
And that's after you get those stages behind you, because sometimes those stages, they are real. They are real. But when you finally come to the point where you say, hey, this thing really, really happened, then you can begin to heal. But how long is it individualized thing? How long should people grieve for?
There is no timeline.
No timeline.
No timeline. As people can be grieving until the day they die. There's absolutely no timeline. As a matter of fact, in my most recent show, I had a mental health therapist on. She lost her mom. Her mom died by suicide. And she wanted to make that clear. She said, Janice, there is no timeline for grief. My mom died 5 years ago, and people think that, it took 5 years, I should be over it. She says, no. She said, grief can last as long as we live. There is no timeline. So people shouldn't be pressured to feel like, hey, it's been a year already, or it's been 6 months and I should feel better. Yeah. No, your grief will last as long as it lasts. The important thing is to acknowledge it. And the important thing is to work to learn to incorporate that grief into one's life. That's what's most important, not so much the time.
Absolutely. Janice, let's go to this video right here.
The best word I can use to summarize it was family. It was just like family, because it's like, I lived in 1460, you lived in 1440. Yes. And we had other people that lived in like 1420, on that side. And it's like everybody knew everybody. Everybody, us growing up, I knew your moms, you knew my moms. It was like family. Yeah. Like your moms was like my moms, and vice versa. And so we grew up that way. Whether we wanted to or not, that's what it was.
Big, heavy blondes pulling up.
Yeah.
Like, yo, boo-boo, come upstairs. My mama want to talk to you.
Exactly. We wanted to go out. We wanted to enjoy it. We wanted to experience it, but we couldn't go on our own. Yeah, so that's what it was, man. Even nowadays, sometimes I sit back. This other day, I would just sit back and just reminiscing and saying, wow, where we came from. We had something. Just to even say that I wanted to remember it, or I remember it, means that it made an impact on my life. Yeah.
Wow. Was this a part of the documentary that he was putting together?
So yes, this was content from the documentary. He never got a chance to finish it. So what I did was for my, what I call the Death Anniversary show, which I do in June, to honor the date of his passing, I decided to create a mini audio doc of some of the content. And that quote is just some of the content that was in the documentary. And Bill, he loved living in the Bronx. He loved our old community. He felt nurtured by it. He had so many friends, and he wanted to celebrate it. And because he didn't get a chance to finish his documentary, I wanted to put something together to honor him and to honor his spirit, and to let him know that, I want to celebrate that too, because it was important to you.
Beautiful.
That was my gift to him. Yes.
Beautiful. Do you feel that sometimes when you're speaking, whether it be on your radio show or here today, or speaking to somebody, that he just touches you in a way and has you say a certain thing, or you say something that just reminds you of him? You see, it happens all the time, right?
Every single day. You talk about signs. I tell people openly, I do believe in signs from our loved ones. I know that not everyone does, but I definitely do. And I consider Bill my co-producer on the show.
There you go. Bill's still working it out, huh?
Together, and and like a song will come to me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't even think about that. And it's like he's saying,
Bill said, I thought about it. That's why I'm here.
Yes, absolutely. Every day I feel his presence. Every day. Yes.
That's beautiful. So what role has mentorship played in your life, and what community or group do you mentor at this point?
Well, I moved to Philadelphia a few years ago. I've been very, very active with doing my radio program. So I'm not really doing as much volunteer work as I used to. I do try to get out in my community and attend events and things like that. But I've just been doing a lot of work on my radio program. And, it gives me a lot of satisfaction when people say to me, Janice, I heard your program and it's really a wonderful program. It's so helpful. I mean, I absolutely love that. As a matter of fact, back in March of this year,
Uh-huh.
a local reporter wrote an article about me and about the Grief Journeys broadcast. And the article was picked up around the country, even in Malaysia. They published an article about me and the radio show in Malaysia.
Yeah.
And I was so excited about that. And people from all over the country have reached out to me to ask me if they could be on my program, if they could talk about grief. And I just want to emphasize something. When we talk about grief and we talk about loss, we're not just talking about grief and loss related to death, but there are a lot of non-death losses that people experience too. When people become ill, when people move to a new community, when people leave a church, when people lose a job or don't get a promotion, or when a relationship ends, when people stop smoking, all of those things involve grief, loss, and change. So I'm going to have more people coming onto my show talking about those non-death losses because they're important too.
Yeah, you've got some categories there, Janice. That's for sure.
Yes.
You've got some categories. Where can we watch your show or listen to your show?
My radio show, I usually tell people to go to my Mixcloud page because then they can access my show anytime. It's mixcloud.com and then /Grief Journeys host, because I'm the host of Grief Journeys. My radio program comes on the last Friday of the month on my local radio station, community radio station here in Philadelphia. So most people would not be able to hear it. But if they go to my Mixcloud page, they can definitely catch my radio program.
Yeah, I don't know if you put that background on there purposely, but it just fits the moment at the time. It's like, Janice, thank you for all that you do. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here.
And I'm sure Bill is with you every step of the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So social media, website, where can we go to follow you for more of this wonderful information?
So I'm on Facebook, Janice Tosto Philadelphia, and I'm on Instagram at Grief Journeys Host.
Uh-huh. You want to give a shout out to any of your friends that help you out or family members?
I just want to give a shout out to all the guests who've been on my radio program.
Yes.
I didn't know if it was going to fly when it first started, but I'm so grateful for all of the people who have said to me, yes, Janice, I will do your show, because they have absolutely made it the fantastic show that it is today. So I'm very grateful to them and want to give all my guests and my producers, give them all the shout out that they richly deserve.
Those are those angels helping it to fly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing. Thank you, Janice.
Thank you.
Janice Jenkins Tosto, an author and mentor of Grief Journey radio show. We'll be sure to check that out, all right? I want to thank you for letting us share in this space and time with us. And I want to thank our hosts, Keeping Arlene, Darren Jaime, and Rena Valentin. The all new episodes of Open coming your way, so make sure you tune in and check that out too. For all of us here at Bronxite, have a great and enjoyable day. And always remember this, what you are is God's gift to you. What you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice. Let your choice control the chooser. And for the people up in the Wizard of Oz studio, thank you guys so much for all the hard work and dedication that you put into the show. Now, floor manager, you did a fantastic job too. We appreciate you, my brother. Whether you say you can or you can't, either way, you're right. So say you can and you will. I'll catch you another day, another way. I'll see you on the radio, 107.5 WVLS of the Dr. Bob Lee. I love you all. Peace.